Navigating your Medicare choices confidently can literally save you time, stress, and potentially thousands of dollars in lifetime penalties. That is the bottom line. Whether you're just approaching 65 or you're already enrolled, the decisions you make right now are going to define your healthcare future. So let's get straight into it.
The rules around Medicare, well, they can often feel like this massive, complex maze that's almost designed to trip you up, right? One wrong turn, just one misunderstanding, can actually lead to permanent late enrollment penalties or really scary gaps in your medical coverage. But hey, don't worry. By breaking down this whole system step by step in this unbiased, comprehensive explainer, you're going to be fully equipped to make the absolute best choices for your personal health and your financial situation. No stress, just facts.
Section 1. The parts of Medicare.
Okay, so Medicare is built on this core architecture of distinct parts. And honestly, they operate very, very differently from one another. We're going to really take our time here breaking down exactly what each of these letters actually means for your healthcare. Why? Because mixing these up is exactly where a majority of those costly mistakes happen. Understanding this foundation is literally the key to knowing exactly what is, and, just as importantly, what isn't covered when you actually need care.
Let's start with the absolute basics, Part A and Part B. So Part A is essentially your hospital insurance. It covers your inpatient hospital stays and certain facility care. Think of this as your coverage for when you are formally admitted to a bed in a hospital or maybe a skilled nursing facility. Now, a lot of folks actually qualify for premium-free Part A based on their lifelong work history. But, and this is a big but, you still have to actively confirm your enrollment situation. Part B, meanwhile, well, that's your medical insurance. This covers outpatient medical services, visits to your clinician, and crucial preventive care like checkups or lab tests. But here is the critical detail you can't afford to miss. Part B has incredibly strict enrollment rules. Missing your window isn't just, a minor inconvenience. It can carry a permanent late enrollment penalty that stays with you for life. Yeah, for life. It significantly increases your monthly premiums forever. So definitely something to get right the first time.
All right, moving on. Let's look at how your coverage builds with Part C, D, and Medigap. So Part C, which is widely known as Medicare Advantage, is basically an alternative way to receive your benefits. These are offered by private Medicare-approved insurers, and these plans generally require you to use a specific provider network or a designated service area for any non-emergency care. Then we have Part D, which handles your prescription drug coverage. You can actually purchase this as a standalone plan if you have original Medicare, or as you'll see, it's often bundled directly inside a Medicare Advantage plan. And finally, there's Medigap. Medigap is private supplemental coverage designed specifically to pay for original Medicare's out-of-pocket cost sharing. We're talking things like deductibles and copays. But it is absolutely vital to note that Medigap is completely different from Medicare Advantage. Also, newly sold Medigap policies, they no longer include prescription drug coverage. You literally have to buy Part D separately if you decide to go the Medigap route.
Section 2. Choosing your coverage path.
Now, this right here is the ultimate fork in the road for your healthcare. On one side, you have original Medicare. The true beauty of this path is the ultimate flexibility it offers. It allows you to use literally any provider or hospital that takes Medicare, nationwide. If you travel a lot, or maybe you want to seek out a top specialist across the country, this is a massive, massive benefit. However, there's a catch. Original Medicare does not have a built-in annual limit on your out-of-pocket spending. That means there's some financial risk there unless you purchase that supplemental Medigap policy we just talked about. On the other side of the road is Medicare Advantage. Now, these plans typically require you to receive non-emergency care through doctors and hospitals within a specific local network. So, what's the major trade-off? Well, they offer a strict annual limit on your out-of-pocket spending for covered services. Basically, you're trading that nationwide flexibility for a capped financial safety net. It really comes down to what matters most to you.
Section 3. Your enrollment timeline.
Timing is everything here. Your standard initial enrollment period is a very strict 7-month window. It begins exactly 3 months before the month you turn 65, it includes your actual birthday month, and it ends 3 months after your birthday month. Now, if you're already receiving Social Security benefits at least 4 months before turning 65, well, you're generally enrolled automatically. Easy enough, right? But for everyone else, you need to actively contact Social Security to enroll during the specific window to ensure your coverage begins without a single hitch. And listen to me on this one. Missing this window by even a single day can actually result in months of delayed coverage. You do not want to risk that.
But wait, what if you're working past 65? If you have qualifying group health coverage based on current active employment, you really shouldn't just assume you can safely delay Part B without checking the rules first.
Typically, you receive an 8-month special enrollment period. That starts either the month after your employment ends or the month after your group coverage ends, basically whichever of those happens first. But pay very close attention to this critical warning. COBRA does not extend your employment-based Part B enrollment window. Honestly, countless people get tripped up by this exact issue. They think COBRA acts as this sort of safety net for Medicare enrollment, and then boom, they end up with those lifetime penalties we talked about. Because these rules vary wildly based on employer size and health savings accounts, you should always verify your individual situation directly with Social Security before making any moves.
Section 4. Maximizing current benefits. Okay, so one thing you need to know is that Medicare is definitely not a set-it-and-forget-it kind of program. Every single year, you must meticulously review your annual notice of change from your health or drug plan. You've got to look closely and identify if there are any shifts in your out-of-pocket costs, if your provider networks are changing, or if your preferred pharmacies are actually still preferred. And always keep an up-to-date medication list. When you're checking to see if your current prescriptions are covered optimally, please rely strictly on Medicare's official plan comparison tools. Actually, scratch that. Don't just rely on them, make them your go-to. Never rely solely on a plan's slick advertising or brand name. Their internal list of covered drugs, which is known as a formulary, can change dramatically from year to year. And if you aren't paying attention, that can leave you with massive surprise bills if your medication gets suddenly dropped from their list.
There's also just immense value hidden in your coverage if you just know what to ask for. Make absolutely sure you fully utilize your Part B preventative care. Your coverage includes vital services like vaccines, cancer screenings, diabetes screenings, and a really helpful one-time welcome to Medicare preventative visit. The absolute best part? Most of these preventive services are available without any cost sharing at all, as long as they're provided by a clinician who accepts the assignment, subject to the program's rules, of course. Guys, this is your health we're talking about. Take full advantage of these proactive benefits to catch potential issues early, way before they become major physical burdens or massive expenses.
Let's be real, healthcare costs can add up incredibly rapidly. So never ever hesitate to check if assistance programs can help reduce your financial burden. First up, there are Medicare savings programs. These are designed specifically to help eligible individuals cover their Part A and Part B premiums. And sometimes they even cover deductibles and co-insurance. Additionally, there's a federal program called Extra Help, which is specifically targeted to lower your Part D prescription drug costs. If you're on a fixed income, it is 100% worth investing the time to look into your eligibility for these public benefit programs. The savings can be totally substantial, sometimes eliminating your premiums entirely and drastically reducing those painful copays at the pharmacy counter.
Now, if you ever disagree with a coverage or payment decision, you need to know that you have rights. First things first, open your Medicare summary notices and explanations of benefits immediately when they arrive in the mail. Seriously, don't just let them sit unread in a pile on the kitchen counter. Second, review those bills promptly. Make sure you actually receive the specific services they've listed. If you spot a mistake, or if a service is flat out denied, you can fight it. Medicare features a highly structured process with 5 distinct appeal levels for original Medicare, Medicare health plans, and drug plans. You are never ever stuck with a first-round denial if you genuinely believe a covered service was incorrectly processed.
Section 5. Fraud Prevention and Support.
Unfortunately, scams in the healthcare space are incredibly common right now, so you must operate by one golden rule. Protect your Medicare number exactly as you would protect your credit card number. I mean it. Do not ever give it out to unsolicited callers or door-to-door visitors who claim they're from Medicare or who try to offer you free medical equipment. It's almost always a trap. If you suspect any fraudulent activity at all, report it immediately to 1-800-MEDICARE. And if you are enrolled in a Medicare Advantage or Part D plan, there are also dedicated plan contractors you can report suspicious activity to. Guard that number with your life. This brings us to a massively important piece of advice directly from our sources. It says, before making a Medicare enrollment or coverage change, use Medicare.gov and speak with your local SHIP for free, unbiased, person-specific guidance. By the way, SHIP stands for the State Health Insurance Assistance Program. This quote perfectly captures the safest approach to navigating your choices. You should always rely on these official, unbiased public channels rather than getting swept up in private sales pitches or high-pressure advertising. They have absolutely zero financial incentive to push you toward one plan over another, which is exactly what you want.
These public resources provide entirely free, local, and totally objective counseling for you and your caregivers. The SHIP network can be reached at 1-877-839-2675.
Section 6. Recap and Next Steps. All right, let's take a breath and recap exactly what you've learned today. First, you've got to understand the differences between Medicare Parts A, B, C, D, and Medigap, so you can confidently choose between the ultimate flexibility of original Medicare or the capped out-of-pocket costs of Medicare Advantage. Second, you absolutely need to meticulously track your specific 7-month enrollment window or carefully navigate your special enrollment period if you're working past 65 to avoid those permanent penalties. Third, maximize your benefits by reviewing your plan annually and taking full advantage of free preventive care. And finally, aggressively protect your identity and lean strictly on unbiased public resources like SHIP for guidance.
So, I leave you with this question. Will you be ready when your 7-month enrollment window opens? Don't wait until the last minute to secure your health and your financial future. If you learned something from this video, please like and subscribe to the channel. And for completely personalized help navigating all of these complex options, make sure you click to call a licensed agent at 559-598-7151. Thank you so much for learning with me in this explainer today, and I will see you in the next one.
Thank you for watching. If you found this video helpful, please like and subscribe. Your support helps us reach more people with practical financial and insurance education. Be sure to explore our channel for more videos on financial literacy, retirement planning, life insurance, Medicare, and wealth-building strategies. Ready to take the next step? Check out Financial Literacy XL on Amazon for a practical step-by-step guide to budgeting, saving, investing, debt reduction, retirement planning, and building long-term financial security. Your financial future starts with the right knowledge.